Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers?
One thing I would like to say about that, just Sanyu, because today I had a court today, and they stepped down, like they discharged the interim care order.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's really amazing. So the court stepped down today, and I'm now fully responsible for her. It's me to decide.
That's amazing. That's good.
Out and proud. I would still say thank you, because it has really been supportive right before I had the baby. When I was pregnant, they still used to support me. When I had my child assessment, I was placed in Handhill 46, of which was a walkable distance to the offices. And when I walked in the replacement, I contacted the offices, and of which I had to go and visit them and tell them more about my situation, of which they supported me through my assessment, sent emails where necessary, exchanged some kind of information with the assessment, which was really helpful, and that led to the victory I reached on today.
Hello our viewers, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Mabel. Today is a special Friday. We have come all the way down here in Lambeth to visit one of our members. She's living in home office provided accommodation. She just recently had a baby, and she's been going through, she's gone through a lot. She's really experienced some really bad moments and ups and downs, but finally she managed to get a place, and we've come to visit her. Last time we checked, she was doing okay health-wise, and her baby was fine. We have come to see her, and she's going to be sharing with us. Thank you for joining us. Come with me. Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you so much for joining us once again. My name is Mabel, your host, and today is our first series of empowering the female gender that is part of LGBT plus community. And today we've made a visit to one of our members. She's going to introduce herself, and she's going to be sharing with us a bit about her story. Hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine.
Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
My name's called Namkosi Faima, a member of Out and Proud.
Yes, Faima here, she just had her baby, and she's going to be telling us more, because it has been a long journey for her to be seated with us here, and she's been going through a lot of challenges, like personally, like emotionally, physically, mentally, health-wise, especially with the baby. As you can see, she's currently living in a home office provided accommodation, and yes, I guess what viewers, what we are ready to hear, however you are willing to share with us, like whatever is comfortable with you to share. Yeah, if you may go ahead, please.
Well, first I would like to thank the Out and Proud group, because it has really of much help for me right from the beginning, even before I had my baby. It's been quite a long journey for me, to be honestly seated here, because I had a lot of ups and downs down the road, even while I was pregnant. But once again, I thank Out and Proud, because it has really been like a family to me.
Could you, I understand you had your baby early before her due date. Could you, give us a bit, a few details about that?
Okay, replying that, I would like to start right from the pregnancy, because my pregnancy itself, it was quite complicated, and just like time came where I had to become a mother. I knew I was pregnant August. No, I think it was about August 2022. The pregnant had a lot of complications. At a point, the doctors had suggested that I should consider termination, which I didn't go with. I had issues with my placenta, it not supporting the baby's growth. The umbilical cord wasn't supporting blood to the baby. And then she didn't have fluid around her. So in February, early Feb, they had suggested to induce me, but I was like, no. Because by then the chances of the baby survival were really low, because she was about 460 grams. 460 grams. Why is she? I'm not sure about that. I think she was
how
about...
far along were you?
I was about 6 months.
Okay.
6 months, but by then she was about, I think, yeah, she was 360. She was 360 grams, though with the doctors, they were aiming at least for her to be about 400 grams, then the chances of survival could be a bit higher. So in Feb, when I went for my scanner, they told me she had not adjusted at any point. And being my condition of the placenta, the fallopian tube, the placenta and the umbilical cord, and her not having water around her, the chances of her survival was like, I may have miscarry. That's like baby dying in my womb. And they suggested to induce me, of which I was against. I was like, I trust. So like I kept the trust in me, myself and the baby, because she used to kick, she used to be active in the evening hours. So I said maybe we should push it for a time, despite the doctors had given me a period of, I was still going to have her in Feb, though her normal due date was in May, 11th of May. Okay. But they said I couldn't go to that date due to the complications. And one day, it was on 18th, I was at home. Actually, not home, I was in a hotel. Because I was homeless and the social services had to take off, so by then I was staying in a hotel. I called the hospital because I wasn't feeling her movement, and then I had like, it's contraction. I could say it's contraction, but it wasn't contraction, so they were more. The only way I can describe is it's like in a contraction way, because my stomach had hardened. I didn't have any kind of pain, but it was just hard. Though it used to happen before, but when like I used to drink warm water, it could ease and you could feel like your stomach is not hard anymore. Of which that day I tried everything and nothing worked out. I called St. Peter's Hospital and they called me to walk in triage, which I did. Going there, they tried to find the baby's heart, which was really hard because they had to do like kind of a scan to find her heart. And when it was found, the heartbeat, we had to go right. They were like, the baby's heart is not okay, the baby's not happy, we have to get her here. And so I had to sign in for a cesarean C-section. To be honest, at that time, I didn't even understand what cesarean was, because in my country, it was like I knew C-section in my mind. So I signed the papers of C-section without knowing I had actually signed it. Yeah, because a lot of people were in the room, the doctors, like, it was like in the blink of an eye, you're going to be a parent. Bye.
So that means you had the baby early. That was, let me see, if she was due in April and you had her in February.
Yeah, she came, by then I was 28 weeks pregnant. That's 7 months exactly. That's when I had the baby.
So so what happened afterwards? Like, because of, you mentioned social services wanting to take the child away from you. What were the reasons for them wanting to take the child?
Right from the beginning, one, I could say it was because of my status and them knowing I wasn't able to work to support the baby. Because with them, because of course here in UK, when they know you're pregnant, they're going to question from right where you stay, what you do and how you're living. So according to how I explained to them, not being able to get public funds and why I was staying not being my real or actual kind of address, like not being my own address.
So you say you were being housed by someone?
I was being housed by someone, and those people were not willing to continue staying with me at that moment. So time came, that was in Jan. They had to raise like the house needed to be renovated. And I was given to 31st of January, so they'll be like, you need to leave. And by that time, I had no place to stay.
Okay.
But by then, social services were already involved because of my mental health. When I knew I was pregnant, obviously I was having some medication. I'd gone to the GP for therapy classes.
So before baby, you already have receiving treatment for your mental health?
Yeah, I was receiving treatment for mental health.
Okay. Do you think it's contributed to social services wanting to take the baby away from you?
More of it did, but then the hospital recommendation while I was in the hospital like made everything worse for me.
What did they say? What did the hospital say?
Being a single person, because standing with my pregnancy and even after having my baby, it was mostly of me. I was the dad, I was the family, apart from the support I used to receive from Out and Proud members, because they were really associative to me. Some they wish to come and visit, but they were not allowed due to the hospital rules. And I can't say being black, but maybe I can say being black, because you're in a society where most people are of the same color, and they are visiting with family, so the respect and how they treat them is not the same way they're gonna treat you. So for me it was always difficult. And then when it comes to communication, you can't understand what every step of what they tell you, and mostly when it's doctor side. So unless they explain to you in bits, of which you're not going to find someone who's going to have that time to explain to you.
Sorry, about that matter, did you ever raise this concern with the hospital, like maybe tell them that you're not understanding them in any way?
I did try to raise them. At a certain point they could explain to me, and I had some friends who could come to visit me at the hospital, so they could kind of listen to that when they used to come during the doctor's rounds in the wards, so they could listen to the explanation and then get back to me.
Okay. So in other words, you informed the hospital that you were having a language barrier, like you're not really getting whatever they were telling you, but they didn't really provide you with the right support? Because I would say they would have provided you an interpreter, them knowing English is not your first language. So you said that the hospital wrote a negative letter which forced the social services to really want to take the child away from you. What else did they add in that letter that you think
I can't say it was
have?
completely negative on that. I can't say it was completely bad. But if we say like range it like out of 10, I would say 8% of it was wrong and it wasn't fair according to the situation I was going through. Because to be honest, having a complicated pregnancy, having a preterm baby, when you don't have any kind of family support around you, and no one prepared me on how to have a preterm baby, how the journey is gonna be. So it's like they expected me to still stand strong and be firm, not having like days where you have to break down and cry. Because honestly, preterm baby are very hard. Today you may visit, the baby is fine, and in the afternoon they call you, something is going wrong. And of course, if anything goes wrong, they're gonna tell you. If this goes wrong, your baby may have a problem with the heart. If this goes wrong, your baby may have issues with hearing. If this goes wrong, your baby may have brain damage. But they're telling you all those bad stuff and they are expecting you to be strong.
It's okay.
Yeah. So with them it was like, you need to be fine, you don't need to break down.
So what exactly happened with the home office? What exactly happened with the social services? Like, how did you get them to not taking the child away from you?
It was quite a long journey, because out of, like I said, the hospital had to make a recommendation. So they chose not to give me the baby, like not the baby being under my
your care.
Baby not being under my care. That one, they were really against it. So even if even at a point when the baby was like able to be discharged, they still had to keep us in the hospital, because by then I didn't have a place to go with the baby. And the social services were like, when I like kind of get back to the story, when I had the baby I was staying in the Travelodge hotel. But then because of the services provided by Travelodge, I was pumping and I didn't have storage to keep my baby's milk, so I had to call the migrant help. And the migrant help, like, accepted my Section 95, whereby they had to accommodate me and provide some services to me. So if the baby had to be discharged or was to be discharged, then we had to go back to the hotel, of which the social services were against, so I couldn't go back to the hotel. So we had to stay in the hospital. So like the hospital came like my home for about a month. We stayed there. The baby was discharged from NICU, but then we had to stay in the hotel. Yeah, in the hospital till they found a place for us to go. And a place which they found for us was an assessment place of baby and mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, would you take us through how you managed to make them not take the baby away from you? Because already they were against everything. Was you staying at the hospital the only solution they had given you for them to not take the child away from you?
Staying at the hospital, they first wanted me to go through the court. That was the social worker I had, because I had during my journey I had 2 social workers, actually 3 social workers, because the one I started with, raised one I started with, and the second and the third, the one I'm still having today. So there is a section under children's service, it's called Section 20. Because I was really tired of staying at the hospital. Because in the hospital, they reached a time and they thought I was going crazy. They were considering of taking me to psychiatrist people. Because even when they were doing like handover for other parents, my handover was always done in secret. So a day came and I was like, why are you doing this to me? It's not like I'm mad. You should treat me the same way you're treating other parents. So they called in psychiatrist people to come and question me to know if I'm really normal or not.
Okay.
So I was fed up of the hospital and I had to sign a Section 20. Section 20 is like you sign to move into mother and baby unit without court hearing. So that's what I did, because I was really fed up of the hospital. I just wanted to be out.
Okay.
Yeah, despite the fact I knew being out I'm still gonna be washed, but I was okay with it. I was just tired of the hospital. Because whatever you did, it was like they were watching me. Where other parents were like just being in the ward, me it's like I had to be one-on-one. Be it night, be it during the time. One-on-one, it's like
someone had to watch you.
Someone has to watch you 24/7 with what you do with your baby, where you go, what you dress her, what you dress up. So coming to the assessment, it was more like it. Because being in an assessment, they had to assess me to see whether I can protect the baby. So when I go back to talk about why I was pressed in the assessment, one was because of my mental health. The second one, they think I was trafficked, which when we come to the explanation of trafficking, it's true. And then another one, they thought, is it sex exploitation? Something like that. Like I was sex exploited, or I could take the baby to do the same thing. I don't know how to break that down, but it's something to do with sex exploitation. And then others, according to my status, not having an address and not being like open to public funds, I can't support the baby. So that's what I say. At a certain point, the recommendation they made, they were true, but then at a certain point, they were not fair when it comes like pushing me there. So to them, they were like I was a threat to the baby and I couldn't care for the baby. They were like, I never prioritized the baby.
Well, it really is sad, as you've heard. Like, she's the very person who kept insisting on keeping her pregnancy despite all the issues she had, but she insisted on keeping her child. She was very insistent despite all the illnesses and the ups and downs and the medications. She insisted on keeping her child. As you've heard from Fahima, she's been through a lot, and well, her story is really sad, but it's good, and we've praised the Lord that she's healthy and she's trying, and her baby is also fine, and they're both doing well. And on that point, could you tell us about, well, because you've heard about the pregnancy and the hospital, the labor and the social services. Could you tell us about the challenges you're experiencing right now?
The challenges, yeah, there are quite a lot, despite the fact I have a roof on my head, provided still by home office, but it's not like a proper place I could say like I'm contented and happy living in. And it's being a shared accommodation. There are other people in, so like when it comes to like bathrooms, toilets.
Toilets.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought there are easy words to use, but so when it comes to toilets, it's like you have to use, and it's not like all people are clean, you know.
Sorry, let me just cut you in like that. Is it the same toilet everyone is and bathroom the whole house is using? Is it the same you have to use for your baby as well?
Yeah, it is the same I have to use for the baby. Though at the moment, since she's still young, so I'm trying to do it in the room, but then it's hard because it's like by stairs, which is really dangerous for the baby. You can't keep moving up and down with the baby and her being preterm because she's still vulnerable baby. When it comes, so like the fridge are being shared, so when it comes to keeping her medication, because she's on kind of a long-term medication. She's on sodium chloride, which has to take like on a daily basis, and her medication has to be kept in the fridge, and where the fridge like are being shared.
How many people are you sharing the fridge with?
Actually all of them, because I'm the last person who came in. So it's like it's me who they give like quite a section where I'm supposed to keep my stuff, but then we don't know what the other person is putting in the fridge. And then when it comes to the fund provided by the home office, because the money they provide, it's like that's what has to keep you through the week. You have to get what the baby needs, you have to attend hospital appointments, you have to go to play groups, and just staying in here because there is nothing like, there is no point like you're gonna watch a television. That's why they don't have, the houses don't have any kind of Wi-Fi, so it's like the money provided has to provide you with everything you need. So you reach a point you need something and you can't get it because it's late what you're getting.
You have to wait till the following week.
You have to wait till the following week.
So how much are they giving you?
It's likely to be about £47 each of us.
For you and the baby?
Yeah, each of us. So the baby gets around 47 and I get about 47, which I'm not so sure.
So you're supposed to use that 47 for, well, say your mobile bills, your Wi-Fi, because you're not getting that.
No,
and then for the travel, for the meals, for the baby milk, the baby
and
clothes.
Mostly when it comes to baby's meals. Because baby's meals, I'm not being able to prepare her meals like on a daily basis. She had just started weaning, so I'm buying food like from outside, the already made food for the babies, but then you use it in a period of 24 hours. So if you open a bottle and it's used or not used,
you have to,
after a period of 24 hours you have to dismiss it. And on the other side, like every stage she needs other new stuff for herself to stimulate her growth, which is kind of hard. You can't get them in charities, and charities, they also have to do referrals for you, of which you don't have anyone here to do referrals for us at the moment.
And how do you go about buying her medication?
Her medication right now, she's on free prescription.
Okay.
So she gets her medication freely.
Oh Lord, it is really a sad story, and it really is, she's really going through a lot of challenges, but then again, we as Out and Proud, we have decided to come out here and embrace such situations and put them out for you to see and to seek support for our members who are going through the same. Fahima agreed to come and share with us. She's a kind person. She really wants people out there who are going through or who have been through what she's going through to come out there, and maybe in the future such incidents will not have to happen. We'll have the proper support, and maybe, well, the proper people they should go to for support. Like, and given her status, because of her status, she was judged, and I would say labeled. Despite everything she was going through, she was still expected to be a certain way for every reason. And well, her financial status, her accommodation. This place, well, as she says, she's appreciative. She has a roof over her head. But then again, it's not really the safest place you would want to have a vulnerable child in, where you have a shared toilet and a shared fridge, shared by more than 4 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So, well, is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers?
One thing I would like to say, but I should not just tell you, because today I had a court today, and they stepped down, like they discharged the interim care order.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's really amazing.
It's amazing.
I'm just happy. I was asked when I shaved off this baby's hair, like, why did I have to cut off her hair without having like permission from the social workers?
Really?
Yeah. So the court stepped down today, and I'm now fully responsible for her. It's me to decide.
That's amazing. That's good.
Out and proud. I would still say thank you, because it has really been supportive right before I had the baby. When I was pregnant, they still used to support me. When I had my child assessment, I was placed in Handhill 46, of which was a walkable distance to the offices. And when I walked in the replacement, I contacted the offices, and of which I had to go and visit them and tell them more about my situation, of which they supported me through my assessment, sent emails where necessary, exchanged some kind of information with the assessment, which was really helpful, and that led to the victory I reached on today. And the accommodation I'm in at the moment is still a walkable distance to the offices, of which I thank God for it. Still receiving members from Out and Proud, and now visiting me time to time, checking on me how I'm doing. So when it comes to my mental health, I still feel at home, because I have these people around me, because Out and Proud has from day one been a family to me, and of which I'm so grateful. So I couldn't hesitate to share my story, because they have built a lot to my success today, having my baby and having full responsibilities. I really thank God and for the group, honestly.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Well, as you've heard, Fahima stays just a walkable distance from the office, and she pops in every now and then, well, for maybe, well, meeting people, not being cooped up in the house. But then there's some of our members who are way out of London. They are so far away. Of course, we try and talk to them as much as we can, but they're not really getting, well, they're not getting they're not getting as much as we would want to offer or support them with. So it is also a challenge to us as an organization, but then we're just trying to come out and do as much as we possibly can to make sure we reach each and everyone and support them in whichever way we can. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for hearing. So we're going to show you a quick tour of her place. And yes, wish her well and pray for her for things to change for the better. Thank you so much for joining us.
So, because I found already 2 people in here, it's like I have a 2 shelf where I put my baby's stuff, her food, and this is her medication and her milk. So like, you can't know what other people put in, whether they can contaminate with the baby's food. And same as this, I was just given 1 place shelf up, just cook my food and put it there. And in the freezer, I just have still 1 shelf down, so with her prepared food on the upper shelf, I try like to prepare her stuffs differently and keep them differently. And here we have a shower.
Is this the bathroom?
It's a shower, the bathroom is upstairs.
Oh.
It's a shower, but it's really complicated. Because when I came in, we didn't have hot water in the upper bathroom, so they just had to fix. Actually, they fixed it today. There is 1 toilet here which we have to share, but I don't use it actually. And so, as I said, it's not that a suitable place. It's really complicated, but then we have a room for us.
Oh, it's quite big, spacious.
That's where my baby sleeps. The cot provided by the accommodation provider, though I requested a proper cot because as the baby grows, she will need something better, of which they said they will look into. Yeah. Yep. Nazigula actually no more incubator. So this was my baby when she came. This was her. She was about 450 grams. That was a pound. And we were discharged from the hospital. She was about 210 grams. Yeah, so we spent... No, she gained 200. 200?
No, because she was 300.
450. I don't know. 2,200. But she was about 2 kgs. This was during the culmination while she was in the hospital. And this was us during the assessment. Yeah, so it's been quite a journey. She spent in the hospital about 3 months.
3 months in the hospital.
3 months in the hospital. Because it was on the court order. Babagamba, if they can't provide accommodation to me, like people from the migrant help should attend the court and give a reason why. Because they couldn't take me back to the hotel. They wanted to take me back to the hotel. But at the hotels, I have a friend of mine. She's part of the group. She's called Zam. And she stays at the hotel. The difficulties at the hotel are really so bad. Transportation, there is no way children attend play groups. Zam is breastfeeding, but unfortunately she just she survives on porridge made during daytime, and a porridge of whereby you have to boil water and make the porridge with the boiled water. You don't have access to cooking. So supposing your baby starts weaning, and that's why the reason they had to find me accommodation, because I told them there is no way you're gonna cook food for the baby.
Because you're in a hotel.
In a hotel. The food provided at the hotels, you don't stand a chance being like, no, I don't want this, I want different food.
They give you
the
what
food
they give
given,
you.
That's what you're supposed to have. So you have it or you leave it. And if you leave it, obviously you're going to starve. They don't provide money for transportation. Supposing when you're going for a GP appointment is like, a GP itself, GP surgery is like 30 minutes walk from the hotel to where it is. So if you have appointments, you have to walk to and from with a baby on a narrow road. I was against it. I'm like, it's really very dangerous. I can't walk with my baby down to and from. They can't provide transportation. Even transportation from the accommodation, like going to Guildford town, is really hard because the buses may come, may not come, and you can't make it even if you have an appointment. So suppose you have regular appointments to the hospital. They are being able to get you transportation to the hospital. But getting you transportation from the hospital, getting back home, it's really hard. Because they book transportation which takes 2 hours or 4 hours. So you have to stay outside for that period with the baby. And you don't have a guarantee like the transportation is going to come within the 2 hours or within the 4 hours. So sometimes you're forgotten there. And I used to tell them I was there. This is the same thing I'm going to go through. Because at the hotel, you're actually being provided like £8. So if I was there and I have the baby, I get £8 as a person.
A week. And
the baby gets £8 a week. So whatever thing you have to get is within that. They don't provide let's say, baby vitamins, Abidec. Baby maybe has
diapers?
Issues with reflux. They don't provide that. They provide diapers, they provide wipes, but baby reflux, baby gel, because of course they provide gel, but babies have different skins. A baby may come and she has eczema. You're gonna go and get a prescription you have to buy. And down the pharmacies they had, sometimes you're gonna have a prescription and they don't have the stuffs you want. So you have to wait. And if the prescription is provided, you have to walk down still 30 minutes walk, 40 minutes walk to go and get the medication, yet you have a baby. So there are things they don't consider once you're at the hotel. So you're just like, they
just like,
so coming here, it was like really a quote, it's like kind dumping. And that's really so hard for her, to be honest. Because
that's really sad.
This is what happening, but then you're like, I can't do nothing.
You can't really help them.
You can't help.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for giving an ear to Fatma. She really needs your support, your continued support and prayers for her and the baby, so that they can, well, turn out to be all well, stay healthy, and God provides, and they can stay healthy and get the right accommodation, place to stay, and be able to get decent meals and, well, live a decent lifestyle. It doesn't have to be the very best, but it just has to be decent and safe. Yes. Thank you so much.